What a perfect day for a stroll through the woods. I'm so glad we made time in our busy schedules to enjoy this. Slowing down to appreciate nature's beauty renews the spirit. Speaking of slowing down, I know you may feel pressure these days to excel at school, sports, at work, and life in general, not to mention navigating social minefields of whispers and drama. Life can be an emotional roller coaster between anxious striving and relentless boredom. You know, walking through these quiet woods always helps me clear my head from life's everyday noise and distractions. Out here, it's easier to see that a middle way exists between the extremes. Like this trail we're on, it balances between uncertain cliffs on one side and tall trees and stability on the other. That middle way idea has been a central insight in Eastern philosophy for centuries, and I think it has a lot to teach Western culture, including us Americans. We tend to charge through life focused on goals without always watching where we're stepping. According to Eastern philosophy, the root cause behind humanity's suffering is our untrained minds. We get easily hooked by impulses and fears. We cling to things hoping they'll provide lasting happiness. Shiny gadgets, material possessions, and political identities that let us feel smugly right. Of course, enjoyment and security from such things fades quickly. And instead of examining why we really chase them, we often distract ourselves by pursuing the next thing we're sure will make us happy if we just try hard enough. Sound familiar? This mindless chasing after things we're convinced will fix everything causes so much stress and disappointment. It's like a hamster running faster and faster on its wheel, but getting nowhere. We burn ourselves out, working overtime to afford houses full of expensive but unneeded things. We check social media constantly, comparing ourselves to the carefully curated perfect lives of influencers. We tie ourselves and our self-worth to which politicians win elections, demonizing anyone with different views. But true happiness can't be found by manipulating the outside world. It starts from within, from training our minds to let go of insatiable desires and have compassion for others. This allows a natural contentment with simple things in the present moment will arise. Thich Nhat Hanh called this interbeing, realizing we're all deeply interconnected. My happiness is not separate from yours. Living ethically benefits everyone in the long run. But individualistic American culture often tells us the opposite, that we each have to fight for our own biggest piece of the pie, no matter the cost to weaker folks. So we internalize capitalism's cutthroat competitiveness as our personal mindset too. The trouble is, when profit gets put above all else, even above truth, service, justice, and our shared future sustainability, everyone loses in the end. So we wind up with a polarized culture of widespread mistrust and collective grief over lost ideas and ideals of nobler purpose. Folks across the political spectrum feel unseen, unheard, disrespected by society and its institutions. Most agree the system is broken, but we feel trapped playing along because basic survival is precarious for too many people. Just one missed paycheck away from total ruin. It's the side effect of a culture out of balance, addicted to overconsumption, hyper-individualism, and quick fixes for complex, systemic issues. But there's hope in returning to more reasonable middle paths between unskillful extremes. Notice one of these old oak trees, still thriving after decades. Now that demonstrates flexible resilience. Roots planted deep to weather floods and droughts. Branches extending trustingly back out of reach each spring, even after harsh winters. Always balancing between bolstering internal health and external reach. Never clinging so rigidly to a single fixed form that it cracks under life's inevitable changes. Anchored, yet adaptable. We humans would suffer less if we nurtured those qualities within. But first, our minds need taming from the relentless tendency to fixate on unrealistic expectations about how things should be. You see, true mental freedom comes when we stop fighting reality at every turn. Pushing against unchangeable facts of life only steals our energy and causes bitterness. Instead, take a middle way approach of accepting what is, while working constructively for positive change in areas within reach. Don't confuse passive despair with calm, abiding wisdom about limitations. Try to see all with empathetic understanding, even when acting for justice. Take the polarization of American politics, for example. People demonize the other side, partly to avoid feeling complicated uncertainty around issues. But there are always multiple valid perspectives. Solutions arise from open-minded cooperation, not hostile tribalism. Or consider life's painful experiences that arise sometimes through no fault of our own. Tragedies, accidents, illness, and death touch everyone eventually. Sometimes we fall short of even our own ethical ideals. This is the messy nature of existence, its essence of seasons, cycles, causes ripening in unseen ways over time. We suffer more when we demand that life conform to our preferred ideas of how things should be. Believing ourselves entitled to comfort and security usually backfires by amplifying distress when the universe fails to comply. Whereas awareness of the bigger picture of interconnected causes can help us accept troubles with some equanimity, without cruelly blaming others or ourselves for complex systemic issues, and without the naive view that enough effort or willpower alone gets us what we want. This allows more clear-eyed wisdom about life's uncertainties. We understand all things must pass in time. We loosen rigid grasping at once, fleeting visions of happiness or identity or relationship. With less helpless flailing against change, we free up energy to savor whatever precious moments we have. A lot of deep thoughts today, I know it. It seems like a lot at once. But I think humanity really would suffer less by finding middle ways between anxious drivenness and apathetic laziness, or generous self-care and constructive service to others. Going with the flow and moral courage, flexibility, balance, and open-minded wisdom is the way. What do you think? Too philosophical, or could these perspectives maybe help society relax and focus more? Not take things so extremely personally when life gets messy. We will all stray and need reminders, but that's part of walking a middle path. Gentle self-correction when we wander astray off center. Mindfulness to recognize exaggerating inner narratives pulling us to extremes. Then self-soothing back to equilibrium. Well, it's getting late. We should probably head back before they send a search party. Perhaps most importantly from today, though, remember to take time to relax and just be in nature. You will be surprised how these and other complex ideas will seemingly just naturally gel while we are just walking and being. Feel the sun and wind on your face. Let your heart fill. Be gentle with yourself and the ones you love.